success story, we shall understand how UGRO Capital has successfully implemented cloud technology. And sharing all the knowledge and experiences with us is Mr. Rishabh Garg, CTO, UGRO Capital. So, welcome, sir. And to moderate this session, I request Ms. Sheena George, partner EY, to kindly initiate this discussion. Over to you.
Thank you, Deepti. Warm welcome, Rishabh. Great to have you here, and thank you for sharing your story with us. Your first question to dive into the topic straight away is the financial service industry has seen tremendous acceleration in both sustainable architecture infrastructure to cater to a digital consumer. And that transition started even before the pandemic. But obviously, there has been a very heightened focus recently on enhancing that customer journey in a completely digital world. Would you like to share with us your journey through this phase and share some learnings with us?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. So, UGRO is a younger organization. So, and when we started our journey, benefits of cloud were well understood. So, we are born digital and focused on bringing in efficiencies and cost reduction in distribution through the use of technology. And we are able to maintain the business continuity during the last few pandemic years only due to our presence of our infrastructure in cloud. There was no break in business continuity even when our branch offices got closed due to pandemic. Physical KYC and signatures got replaced by video KYC and e-signatures. Instead of cancelled checks, we started collecting e-Nash from our customers. Online collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 replaced the requirement of being present in physical office. All the meetings can be done virtually through Microsoft Teams. The only learning we derived during these hard times to accelerate our journey for deeper digital transformation. We realized that many physical processes which were being followed earlier are too expensive and can be easily replaced by digital tools. And that happened only during this pandemic years. So during this pandemic year, we embarked on a journey for direct to customer digital channel where customers can log in and submit loan applications on their own. Earlier, it was a assisted model for us, where our sales agents assist the customers to fill the loan applications, and thus UGRO would be able to disburse the loans to the customers. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Rishabh. So, needless to say, definitely major transformation. And for you, because you were already born digital, as you mentioned, that transition hasn't really been a very difficult journey. You were able to do it faster. You were already on cloud and using latest technology there. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for answering that. To delve a little deeper from where you left, right? So what has been your cloud strategy? And there are multiple things in the financial services industry that needs to be thought of, right? While you may have, a cloud strategy and, there are compliances to be taken care of in terms of data privacy, security, privacy, and other regulatory needs. So how have you balanced your cloud strategy with in this compliance environment?
So, as you know, the UGRO is a regulated entity. So, it's imperative for us to be compliant with regulatory requirements. So, though we are not as big as banks, but requirements about security and availability would remain same. Cloud enabled us to implement the same level of enterprise security at a fraction of cost. So, many of the compliance requirements come as a click in the cloud. So, deployments can be carried out across multiple data centers in multiple physical locations. Applications are installed in high availability mode. We can spawn a complete infrastructure in few minutes. All these features can be taken care in cloud only, and which satisfies our requirement for business continuity and availability. With all major cloud providers have data centers in India, and they provide option to restrict data movement across geographies. So data localization related compliance are being taken care of. Cloud providers have built-in key management services, which help us in encrypting sensitive information with enterprise-grade security. So we can build and set backup and retention policies in Cloud Console, which can trigger automatically basis set frequencies. Complete DevOps is being now taken care through built-in services of the cloud. It's a kind of outsourcing security compliance to a cloud vendor. All physical security availability requirements regarding having access controls in place, certifications, fire safety audits, high availability of server locations is being managed by a cloud provider. This removes a critical item from your regulatory checklist. Earlier, we need to provision the hardware upfront as per the peak expected future volume. Now in cloud, the hardware auto scale bases the load on the servers. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rishabh. So you did cover how data localization requirements are being supported by the cloud vendors. You addressed encryption for security and privacy. You addressed retention and backup policies, and also the whole CI/CD or DevOps pipeline that's being managed through the cloud vendor. That's great. So, as a strategy, have you done a hybrid model, or are you full, public?
So as I mentioned earlier, we are born digital. So we, from the day one itself, we are on a public cloud.
I see.
So
okay.
it's not a hybrid model.
Okay, so that's interesting. And through your investments in cloud, how have you been able to provide minimal disruption, 24/7 availability? And you did mention about scalability, right? So there'll be peaks and troughs, right? You did cover that, right? So can you just talk about how you're handling your data volumes and overall high availability in your organization?
So we haven't seen a single day of downtime due to hardware or software issues. So we are architected our application to be deployed in multiple physical locations. We're running in high availability mode. All the data we collect in cloud goes into auto-scalable object storage. We do not, as I mentioned earlier, we do not pre-provision the storage and computing power upfront. They scale automatically based on the load on servers. So earlier what used to happen in traditional setup, the servers are pre-provisioned and procured basis the future peak volume they expect in years to come. This is very expensive. And now in cloud, you do not have to do this. So basis the load, the servers scale up automatically. Through both data in transit and rest is secured using enterprise grade encryption, as I mentioned earlier. As we are getting towards more APIs, and in fact, more fintech players are moving towards APIs to have a more open ecosystem. So API deployments and versioning are being managed through API Gateway Service, which is kind of out of the box service being provided by a cloud provider. Though I must stress that all the benefits of a cloud can be achieved only on a shared responsibility model. Organizations should be responsible enough to follow the best practices as laid down by respective cloud providers to architect their application. Otherwise, it's being equivalent to host on a traditional infrastructure.
Thank you, Rishabh, for stressing that. So you did, cover a couple of things. One is that from your perspective, the first thing you said when I asked you about the a high availability, you said that earlier from on-premise application perspective, providing high availability would have been very expensive, not cost effective at all, whereas now you're able to achieve that cost effectiveness because of the model in which you have engaged, right? And also you mentioned about handling volumes and storage. Thank you so much, Rishabh. With all of this that you already have invested in and you have, what's the next step in your technology journey to take it to the next level? What have you
so so we are improving a lot on the current architecture. So there are newer and newer technology models which come into place. So we are moving towards a more microservices oriented architecture, and we are building more, since we are gathering more and more data day by day. It's more than terabyte of data, and we need to prepare a complicated models which can do underwriting on a runtime on these on this terabyte of data. So we're building more data pipelines. So we are using more and more cloud native services to crunch and build models on top of this data. So that's our next step towards more maturity.
Okay, so basically, to leverage the best benefits of the cloud, you're also looking to modernize these applications, move to more microservices based model and containerization models. That's when you'll be able to handle some of this. You mentioned data storage, terabyte data, volume handling, also faster go to market in terms of the any releases can be done faster and everything. But this has been useful. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for sharing your journey with us. It's been very insightful. I will now hand it back to you, Deepti.
Thank you, Sheena.
Well, thank you so much, Sheena, and thank you so much, Mr. Garg, for all those very valuable insights. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up is yet another expert speaker, so stay tuned as we'll be back right away.